It's Kiki. If a nigga trick, I'm your treat. Catch me courtside or where Grease be. Took me on a trip, put his face in my Fiji. Rich nigga Neil, let me see how the rock feel. Run back with his money, spill the tea, it's a cocktail. He keeping tabs, let him see how the box feel. Now I got him blocked, you can't keep me on lockdown. He like the way that I drip. He love the way that
Okay, you guys, welcome back to CockTales. And today's cocktail is called The Next Chapter because sometimes celebrations aren't just about where you've been, they're about finally giving yourself permission to see what's ahead. And that's exactly what we're doing today. So, to make the next chapter, what you're going to need is an ounce of vodka, half an ounce of Saint Germain, half an ounce of fresh lemon juice, a quarter ounce of some honey syrup, 2 ounces of Prosecco or champagne, a splash of club soda, edible gold flakes, and a lemon twist, and fresh mint for garnish. So what you're going to do is you're going to add the vodka, Saint Germain, lemon juice, and honey syrup to a shaker filled with ice. You're going to shake it up really well, make it nice and cold. Strain it into a chilled coupe or a flute. Top it with a Prosecco and a splash of club soda if you want, like if you think it might be too sweet. And then you're going to garnish it with a lemon twist, mint, and a pinch of the edible gold flakes. It is going to be a perfect celebratory drink. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh, get away from me, Nat. I'm drinking out of a red cup because so what? And I'm just drinking regular wine. I didn't want to be making noises from my body because sometimes that bubbly makes me feel a little gassy, if you know what I mean. But anyway, welcome back to CockTales, you guys. I wanted to make a few quick announcements before we move forward. I hope that you guys got what you needed from last week's episode. And going forward, just so that we're all on the same page, it's just going to be me, but not every week, because the thing is, I'm going to be inviting friends to come through. Think of the new iteration of CockTales as the group chat conversations that you have where you're still going to have the cocktails, you're still going to talk about sex, you're still going to talk about your man, you're still going to talk about your girl, you're still going to talk about whatever is going on in your life, and you're going to have fun, and it's mostly a judgment-free zone. I mean, let's just be honest, sometimes we be judging, but it's all in fun, and no, I still love y'all, and thank y'all for loving me. Now, we're also going to be dropping episodes going forward on Friday. We're just going to kick off the weekend that way. Thursday used to be my favorite day of the week, and I've been napping on Thursdays. So going forward, we will be dropping on Friday. So just keep that in mind. Don't y'all be hitting me up on Thursdays. I really appreciate that nobody's actually been hounding me about when the episodes come out. Y'all get it. Y'all just been getting them when y'all get them, and I appreciate y'all. But I so desperately need to get back on schedule. So I'm not asking you to be my accountability partner just yet, but by October, if I don't have it together, which I'm sure I will, that's when y'all can start being like, all right now, bitch, we've been real patient and come on. So Fridays are going to be our new day. And I also want to know what y'all think of the new space. I love it. I think it looks very girly. It feels like I'm in my living room, except my living room is still filled with boxes. But isn't this cute? It gives me like a watch what happens live kind of vibe. I am going to have more guests. I've already recorded an episode with my girl Dree, so that'll be dropping next week. I have some other people that I want to invite on, but sometimes it's going to be me. Sometimes I'll have guests that I know that'll be my friends. And then sometimes I'm going to have some other people that I don't really know very well, but have interesting stories to tell. And I want to know from y'all who y'all want me to invite on the show, whether it's somebody who just has an interesting story or somebody that's super popular. Some of the people y'all be sending me, I'm like, girl, we're gonna have to give it a minute because y'all, I'm glad y'all believe in me, but I don't think y'all understand how much people will curve you if they aren't familiar with your platform. But keep sending the people because I do want to have more guests. I do want to have more conversations. I want it to continue to be a nice, fun, girl chatty type of vibe because sometimes I want to talk about my shows. Maybe my love life isn't that interesting, or maybe it is. And what y'all want to know about it? I'm not saying I'm gonna tell you, but I am curious about what you might want to know because I just don't know. I'm always wondering what y'all are thinking, and I appreciate y'all for talking back. So continue to talk back, production, because I have a lot of questions for y'all. We've got some new segments and some new things I'll be testing out. Now, okay, so I told you about the new episode drop date, Fridays now. It's the weekend, Fridays. Also, Bali. I'm really excited about Bali. That is a trip that's coming up. It's at the end of September. It is September 25th through the 30th. And some people had to cancel last minute. So if you want to come, you can come. It's up for the payment plans. You just gonna have to pay that money, but it's only $2,400. So if you got it, let's go. We're gonna have a good time. And also book club for the month of August. We are gonna be reading the book called The Other Mistress by Shanora Williams. It's supposed to be a really scandalous mystery thriller. Probably a psychological thriller. Those are my faves. So join the book club. We have happy hour meetings and we just be on there talking. It's like a book club that you would have in person because we only talk about the book for 10 minutes sometimes if it's not that good. And then we just talk about life. And if you're looking for community, if you're looking for friends to talk to, go ahead and join the book club. Now, I want to tell y'all about this wild story. One of y'all sent this to me, and I promise I checked so many websites because I absolutely thought that it was a full-on lie. None of this makes sense to me, but this is this week's Weird Sex. This is from ABC News. So that y'all know, I tried to do my best with my due diligence on researching. But now wait a minute. How the story gonna change? Okay, this is the headline. Oral sex, a knife fight, and then sperm still impregnated girl. What in the entire fuck? I don't know about y'all, and we don't need to go down my whole facts report, but I don't know what I would do if I found out that I got pregnant by somebody and all I did was suck their little glowworm. Like, excuse me? I thought I was getting off scotch-free. Apparently not for this woman. So this happened some years ago. And this is like the most unlikely thing to happen, but the people on the internet say it's true. I don't know. So this happened in the year I was born. But y'all don't need to know what that is. Anyway, she was 15 at the time. It was a long time ago. She was 15 at the time, and she was living in Lesotho. I might be saying that nation's name wrong, but it's a country in Southern Africa. She came to local doctors with all the symptoms of a woman who was in labor, like from being pregnant. The doctors were puzzled because upon examination, she did not even have a vagina. Now, I know what y'all thinking. What in the hocus pocus is going on? Because how did you get pregnant and you don't even have a hole? I was wondering the same thing. So, upon inspection of her vulva, which is pussy lips in case you didn't know, they could not find a vaginal hole, only a shallow skin dimple. Immediately, I start spiraling, and I'm thinking, is she one of those victims where they're doing like the female circumcisions, but that's for your clit? So, like, what did somebody sew her up tight when she was a little girl? Like, I'm just so confused about what happened. Well, she was born this way. Her birth defect, it's called a Müllerian. Ooh, it's got like 7 names. I don't know what this is. I'm not even about to try, but it's a really long name. Maybe I'll pop it on the screen. Maybe I won't, but just Google it. It didn't necessarily surprise the doctors, but it did surprise her. And I'm sure it surprised her family too. Looking at her records, they realized the woman was in the hospital 278 days earlier with a knife wound to her stomach. The average pregnancy, in case you didn't know, because I sure in the hell didn't, lasts 280 days. After interviews, they gathered that just before she was stabbed in the abdomen, she had practiced fellatio. They try to clean it up real nice. She was giving her boyfriend head and was caught in the act by her former lover. And then the fight with the knives ensued. You think they don't get to have guns there? Because I know some places you're not supposed to have guns. Because I'm wondering, like, why a knife fight? That seems like you got to get too up close and personal. Anyway, she arrives at the hospital with an empty stomach. Therefore, with little stomach acid around, and doctors found 2 holes from the stab wound that opened up her stomach to her abdominal cavity. The case report said the doctors washed her stomach out with salt solution and stitched her up. Well, the plausible explanation for this pregnancy is that the sperm got access to her reproductive organs via the injured gastrointestinal tract. Nobody is safe. Close your mouths, close your legs, close your ears, put gloves on. You just need to stay home because anybody could get pregnant. I don't know. Like, imagine how traumatic this is. You just had to give somebody head and it ended there. Oh, where's the fun for you? Maybe it was fun. I don't know. Let me not project. But then you get stabbed by your ex. He probably never got his dick sucked, so he's upset. And now he stabs you. He probably stabbed the other nigga too. And then in the end, you end up pregnant. Excuse me? And how are you going to explain that to your African mother? The woman survived. And infertility experts noted the story. It's been in a lot of magazines, and they say it's not the only testament to Murphy's Law, but one to arguably nature's most impressive swimmer sperm. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is confusing to me. I still don't understand how the sperm was able to swim through the blood in the knife fight. I guess somebody really wanted to be here. Anyway, y'all keep sending me the weird sex stories. I find them quite interesting. I don't know what I would do. And I was also thrown off. So y'all know this sent me into a big black hole where I was constantly, for probably like 37 minutes, I was Googling the condition with that long ass name. And there's so many different ways women might not have a vagina, or they got the vaginal hole, but it's sealed off at a crazy spot. Or I knew about people getting their clits removed, which like, that's so rude. It's just a lot going on down there that I wasn't familiar with. And they have surgeries for them. So good luck to anybody who may be suffering with that condition. And I pray for you and your catheter. Moving on. Okay, so a listener sent this message on Patreon, and I'm getting back to posting on Patreon too, so y'all don't leave Patreon. But he had a question, and we actually emailed back and forth, and I really wanted to talk about this already because I saw some things online that made me think about it. So I'm gonna read his email to y'all, and then I want to give him some advice, but I want y'all to chime in the comments and give him some advice too. So this is what the email says. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. My question is about my girlfriend and I. We've been in a long distance relationship, and she's someone who has never really been very into sex. We're slowly getting there, but I'm definitely the more sexual person in the relationship. Okay. Without getting into too many details, well, why not? I wanted to ask about the new vitamin or supplement you're sponsoring. I'd love to know if you think it could help increase her libido, because I'd love for her to absolutely attack me the next time I see her. We tried the something else, he put the wrong name, before, and I was on 10 in the bedroom. She was better, but our concern is, he's talking about some THC gummies that we had recommended before. He's been a 5-year listener, and toy stimulation, all of it, he's tried it. So let's take a pause. He's got more to say, but he tried the THC gummies. He's asking about the supplements, and I'm sure he's talking about Drive Boost and Soaking Wet. So let me pause here and say this about Drive Boost. Drive Boost is an excellent supplement from VB Health. VB Health has a simple mission, and that is to create supplements that work. I believe in Drive Boost, but nothing is one size fits all. So I cannot tell you that it will 100% work, but I would advise you, if you or your partner are having issues with your libido, you think that it's low, I would recommend trying it. Nothing beats a fail but a try. Try it out, see how it works. The great thing about VB Health is that they have a money-back guarantee. The supplements are created by physicians, actual physicians. They are put together in nice facilities. They have all the details about what you're actually putting in your body on their website. So y'all should check it out. The website is vb.health, and you can use our code CockTales to get 10% off your purchase. And that goes for Drive Boost as well as Soaking Wet. Soaking Wet is the vaginal prebiotic and probiotic that's just going to keep your flora right, and it'll help you be wet. But you're not going to get wet if you're not aroused. And so you got to get that Drive Boost. And I wonder too, as he's saying this, if she might be on birth control. I will say this. I have been on birth control before, and some of the birth controls do affect your libido. And sometimes, like, it's you, the man, getting on her nerves that could affect her libido, or like work. I don't think you want me to mention what y'all do for a living, but it's something that I could see being highly stressful. So it could just be life moments that are going on. But anyway, back to your email. Let's just say I want her to release the demon. Everybody ain't got that demon in them, baby. I want you to know that. And you need to have an honest moment with yourself and that man in the mirror. Are you going to be okay if she don't have it in her? Because everybody does not. I mean, that's just the truth. And that goes for the men and the women and the in-betweens. Now, I'm pretty much everything. I think you meant I'm pretty much into everything, but maybe you meant it just how you wrote it. He says, I'm pretty much everything, and I mean everything. I want us both to have an incredible time together. And I don't want to be the only one enjoying myself. That's fair. I want that mutual passion where we're both equally excited and can't keep our hands off each other. Thank you both again. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate everything you do. You know, I have to clean that up. And Kiki, if my grammar is off, don't roast me. I didn't roast you, but I was a little confused. So I wrote it back, and I'm going to tell y'all straight up what I said. Hey, did you mean you tried High Love, the THC gummies? The Drive Boost supplements are not THC. I just need clarity because sometimes y'all be confusing me. He says... yeah, that's what he meant. I said, okay, so what's the question? I read the email and you asked about the supplements we talk about on the show, but then you asked how to unleash the demon. So are you looking for products, suggestions, tips, or what? So he offered a Cash App and I'm going to hold you to it. But he said more so, I want advice for her. And so how to have better, more natural sex that is enjoyable for her too. Maybe you want me to try a certain supplement, a certain position. Any advice for a couple where only the man is enjoying it? And yes, she loves me like crazy. She just lore of a good girl. I think he meant more of a good girl, like very good. And she will do it for me, but I can tell. If you ask an, okay, well, I'm not asking no more questions except for here right now. So in that last part where he's like, oh, she's a good girl. This is what I think about that. That really stuck with me. And I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. Sometimes I think that we put too much emphasis on like what the good girl will do versus the fun girl or the wild girl or the nasty girl or whatever. And some women still get hung up on that. I'm not one of those women, but I know a lot of them. So some girls might really want to try some shit, but because they've heard you talk about the good girls, or maybe you've called her a good girl and you said it in a loving, kind way, but she's going to start thinking, oh, well, if I tell him what I really want to try, he's going to think less of me. He won't want to marry me. He won't take me serious. Sadly, a lot of people still feel that way, even in the year 2026. I'm telling y'all, so many people are still caught up in like the purity of it all and these respectability politics and shit, when it's just like, don't you just want to have fun? What are you getting hot and sweaty for? Or what are you letting somebody inside of your body for if it's not to have a good time? I mean, I guess some people are doing it to like procreate. Ugh. But outside of that, like, don't you want to feel good? I want to feel good on the inside parts, don't you? Shit, because I mean, it can be really tiring. Sometimes it causes me to have sciatica flare-ups. So if I'm going to do it, we need to really do it. You know what I mean? So, okay, so you asked about the supplements. He mentioned something that they do for a living, which is why the THC could be a concern. I'm not going to recommend anything like that for you guys. I think that what you need to do is obvious talk to one another. And I'm going to give you some tips, and then I want to do a little role play with myself. To give you some examples of how to present this. But one, don't be trying to slip her no drugs, no gummies, no nothing, because that's going to be weird. So skip that idea. I think after some time, you can suggest it, or maybe you can just be like, hey, I'm taking this. I'll give you one. I've done that and it works. Just be like, oh, I'm going to take this. It's going to make you feel good. And they'll be like, okay, try it. If I could do it and get a man to do it, I'm sure you can do it and get your girl to do it next time y'all together. 1, 2, I think that more men, you and all the other ones, listening to this, watching this, y'all need to read some smut. Old smut, new smut, all of it. And you need to read some romance novels. So this is a woman that you're in love with. Y'all are in this long distance relationship and you've got to love each other to do the long distance shit. Cause like what? Anyway, you need to read some books. I don't like to tell people to watch porn because the porn be too much and sometimes it's just too much. But the books, it allows you to like paint a picture and it's a little bit more of a slow build. The smutty books, that's going to show you how to get it good and steamy. But the romance novels, I think it'll help you to set the scene. You need to create a safe space for this woman and make sure she's feeling comfortable to like let her guard down. And you got to check yourself too about the types of things that you're saying to her or that she might overhear, or even the stuff that you say with your friends and how you talk about other women, and stop thinking like that you can be like, oh, well, you're not like that. That's going to be in the back of her head because she probably is like that. Now she's scared to really unleash the demon because she thinks that you're not going to like her no more. You know, it's so many things that go on in our head. So this is what I would do if I was you. You need to set up a nice date night when y'all spending time together. And it would be, I think it might be better if you do this when she's coming to visit you versus you going to visit her. I could be wrong. I want you to try it both ways. Just report back. But you really need to just take her out to dinner or for drinks or something, whatever y'all like to do, whatever y'all's thing is. But it needs to have a dark and moody vibe. You don't need to be anywhere too loud. Don't go to one of them club restaurants where you can't even hear her talking and there's hookah smoke all over the place because she might get irritated. And just be like, baby, so I was thinking, I want to try something. And I've been thinking about it for a while. I was a little nervous, but I just want to try something. Do you trust me? But you got to hold her hand. You got to touch her. And you got to say hello. You got to look at her in her eyes, but not like a serial killer. Just look at her and let her know that you're being intentional. And so she's like, oh, well, what's going on? And make sure you got your deep voice on. Don't get nervous and start talking all high-pitched and stuff because that's going to be a total turnoff, I'm sure. And don't start talking about work. Don't talk about nothing else. You need to talk about what's going on in between her legs and all up here, okay? You just need to make her feel like, oh, well, what's going on? This is different. So you tell her, I want to try something different, and I was nervous to talk to you about it, but do you trust me? She's going to say yes. If she doesn't say yes, well, I don't know. You might need to abort the mission because now y'all got other shit to talk about. But let's just say she says yes. Then I want you to, as you're holding her hand, maybe you're sitting across from each other on the table, let your arm inch up some more and stroke her arm while you talk to her. You got to talk to her and like keep her calm and pay attention to how she's moving. Is she tensing up or is she relaxing? Depending on how you sitting, you might even want to feel up under the table. But anyway, that's enough about the touching. You just need to tell her some ideas that you're going to get from some books. I suggest you listen to Kennedy Ryan. She's very popular right now. There's also a series of books. Oh, what is that author's name? I can't think of her name. Jaquel J. That's her name. You need to listen to Kennedy Ryan and Jaquel J. Jaquel J is going to be a little bit more of the hood novel. If she might have a little thing for the roughnecks. And then Kennedy Ryan is probably more like you. So come up with a combination of the things that the men in these novels were doing and how they were able to romanticize their women and seduce their women in like a healthy way, and try some of that out. And you just need to talk to her. And while you're at dinner, you don't stop touching her. You need to keep whispering her in her ear. If there's a boo, come a little closer. Don't be sitting so far apart. Compliment her. Tell her how good she smells. You need to hold her tight and like continue to touch her. Sometimes I think that y'all forget, the men, y'all forget that like it needs to be a buildup. You're going to have to oil all the Buicks up. Let the engine start running before you leave the restaurant so that she will be ready later. And if you have this buildup, especially because it's long distance, if this is long distance, you need to start before she books the flight and just have it building up and building up. Send her pictures, send her text messages, call her, tell her how excited you are, tell her how attractive you are to her, tell her how good she smells, how soft she is, how good she looks. But don't rub on her belly when you tell her she's soft. Because I remember one time this man had rubbed on my belly and he's like, ooh, meaty. And I was just like, are you fucking for real right now? You don't do that to somebody. Anyway. You've got to give her compliments and you got to make her feel special and just slow down. I think that you're saying that you really like a lot of stuff. Another thing I realize is a lot of men be thinking they freaky and they nasty and they with everything, and you don't really be with everything. So I think you need to ask yourself that. You said that you were into everything, I think. I have a feeling you're not. And it's not a bad thing, but it's a lot of shit going on out here in these streets, and I don't even know if you know about it. So don't tell her that you're down for whatever, but tell her specific things that you want to try. What do you think would excite her? And then hopefully the night goes well. Maybe she'll be more into the sex. And then afterwards, don't clunk out and just fall asleep unless she does. But talk about it later. Ask her if she liked it. And don't make it awkward. Don't make it like an interview Q&A, but Maybe even just say, oh, I really liked when you did XYZ. Tell her that later, like the next day at breakfast or like at some other time when she's not expecting it. That way it doesn't seem performative. It's going to give that you still thinking about it and you just got to try a little harder. It's no position I can give you to try because I don't know this lady. It's no one move. It's no one supplement. Y'all got to get creative. And so the best thing I can think to do is send you to somebody else who was creative that wrote these books and y'all read the books. Don't go to porn, but go to the books and then talk to her and ask her what she likes. And maybe somehow, some way, y'all can have a deeper conversation and figure out why she's not that into sex. It could be the good girl thing. That's what I'm feeling. But I'm also wondering, I don't want to put no bad thoughts in your eyes. I mean, in your ears, but could she be a lesbian? Women be gay too and living that life. So, I mean, also just think about that. Maybe she's into the girls and maybe she's still into men too. And then maybe you just bring in somebody else. I mean, the world is your oyster, but you got to talk to the girl. You got to try it out and figure out what's what, because outside of that, I don't know what to tell you. So write back and let me know, or you can call the sip and spill line, which I would love if you did that. And just tell me how it goes, because I'm really curious if this is going to work or not, if she's going to try any of the supplements, if you're going to read any books, or if you're just going to go in there trying to jackhammer her again like you've been doing, and then that's not going to work. Anyway, update me later because I want to know. Now, we're going to move on, and I have a message from another sponsor, and that is Rocket Money. Now, one thing about me is I like money, and I like to keep my money, and I like to know where my money is going and when it's coming. And sometimes it can get overwhelming when you have a lot of bills, and now everything is subscription. You got to sign up for this. I'm trying free trials for this. And you get overwhelmed and you forget exactly what's going on. And I don't know about y'all, how y'all keep up with it, because I can't. But what I have been doing that allows me to keep up with all of my expenses is paying attention to my Rocket Money account. And once you go and download Rocket Money, which the app is free to download in the App Store and Google Play, but Rocket Money is an amazing financial app, and you're able to really get a grip on what you're spending and how you can make changes. I think the biggest thing is just really looking at everything all broken down into categories, and you're really seeing what you're spending. I had multiple subscriptions for the same service, and I didn't even realize it. I would forget constantly to cancel free trials of products that I tried out that moment, forgot about it, might have deleted the app, but I never canceled the subscription. Something really cool about Rocket Money is that they're going to allow you to go on the app and see what's being spent and when your subscriptions are about to be renewed and all of that. And sometimes you can even just click once and you're able to cancel the subscription. And I think that that's really important. Another thing that Rocket Money offers is just better seeing like a forecast of your expenses. That's another thing that I would forget. I would remember, okay, I got to pay my rent. I got to pay my phone bill. I got to pay insurance. I've got to pay this, that, and the other. And then you forget about the other stuff that you regularly spend on. And you're able to see all of those things within Rocket Money. It really is just an amazing site. Let's see. There's also the aspect of overspending. So if you set a budget and you say, I'm only spending $500 this month going out to eat with my friends, and you felt like you spent $500, but the month was so long because July and August belong to me. I don't know about y'all, but they're long to me. And then that budget goes over. You're going to see it in the app. And I just think it helps to hold you accountable because all of those little things add up. You can really just pay way more attention to your spending and stop overspending, stop stressing about what's going on with your budget and your financial situation. When you continue to ignore your finances, you're always going to be in a losing position. So download the app Rocket Money today so that you can make sure that you're staying on top of everything. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/cocktails. That's COCKTALES. Again, that's rocketmoney.com/cocktails. rocketmoney.com/cocktails. Okay, now, before we get into our sip and spill segment, I did have a few things that were just on my mind. And we're going to call this new segment Questions That Need Answers. If y'all got some questions that need answers, drop them in the comments. I might add it on next week because I might have thoughts about them too. I just had a few. One, I've got a trip coming up next week. I am going to visit my aunt for her birthday. And we're having the Moo and Margarita party. I'm very excited about it. I hope that she's going to have fun at her surprise, not anymore surprise party. It should be a good time. But why do people like to stand up as soon as the plane lands? Where are you going? Especially the person in the window seat. Where are you going? And you are not about to rush me. It is a very annoying, the overhead thing. I'm short, but I know you're uncomfortable because you're taller than me. You're standing over here and now you're rushing. And I'm just like, do you have a connecting flight? Maybe you shouldn't be sitting back here in 37F. You might should have paid for the extra up front. I don't know. But I just always wonder because once you make it to the gate and everybody, the ding dong, and then everybody stands up, they still got to open the door. The people in the front still got to go. You got all the people in the wheelchairs. You got all of the overhead stuff. Where are y'all going? Just chill out for a minute. Maybe if everybody wasn't standing up and in the way, we could actually get off a little faster. Just a thought. Also, I live in Atlanta, the home of the club sarons, and sometimes they can be fun. I don't mind a little hookah and lamb chops and a little twerking, even in the morning time. But I do not like when I'm surprised that a restaurant is a club restaurant. Because if I go somewhere and I'm thinking that it's like intimate date night setting and we're going to be able to talk and have dinner with like some low sexy music playing and I get in there and I hear Sexy Red instead, that can be annoying. When you can't even place an order with your waitress / bottle girl, which is sometimes what they look like, and that should be red flag number one. It is just really, it's a lot. And I just wish they would turn the music down sometimes. Or can we turn it down till 11 p.m.? Y'all stay open till 3. Also, why do people like to say, oh, I was gonna text you? Why didn't you just do it? I don't care about what you was gonna do. What did you do? Nothing. So why did you tell me that? Do you think that makes me feel better? I don't. And does your group chat have a person in your group chat, like your primary group chat, like I do, where there's one person who like never responds to anything, but they know all the tea? I like to watch them closely because, bitch, why are you not participating in the chat? And what's going on with your location? Why can't I see where you are? I'm looking for you like all of my sim characters on the Find My app, and yours is always unavailable, but you always know where I was, and I'll get a random text from you like, where were you going at 2 a.m.? Bitch, don't worry about it. Where have you been in the group chat? Who is y'all's friend? Please tag them in the comment below, and let's all find out why y'all don't be participating in the group chat, but you got everybody's tea. That's not fair. And that's not a good group chat participant. Anyway, so that's it for my questions that need answers. If y'all got questions that need answers, please send them my way. And now I want y'all to take a listen to some of the voicemails I got. Remember, we have a new segment called Sip and Spill. I want y'all to call my nightcap hotline. The number is 404-692-0039, and I want y'all to leave me a message. You can ask me for advice, you can share your cocktail, or you can just tell me what's on your mind. I will alter your voice if necessary. I'm going to take out your name so you don't have to worry about it, but I want y'all to hear what I've been hearing. And this is a two-parter from one of our listeners. She had a work function, and I just thought this will be a good one.
This is Tina Cole just finishing out the cocktail, and hopefully you can combine
Oh,
the two
wait.
and play them together.
I didn't click the first one.
Hi, Kiki. Hi, Medina. This is one of your listeners that interacts with you frequently on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Tina Cole 817.
I guess she want us to know.
You guys know.
Oh, no, you
who I
don't.
am. So I'm finally calling in with a cocktail. Been listening to you guys for years now. Love you guys down, and love the growth and everything else. But I've been wanting to write in a cocktail for a minute, but this voicemail feature is just my jam. So I was just in San Diego again, and that for work, and it brought me back to this juicy cocktail that happened a few years ago. So I'm in San Diego for work. We're having a customer event. And I had just gotten over or was in the process of getting over somebody's rusty, dusty son who we had celebrated New Year's together, and then he started acting a little funky after. So I just was like, I'm not down for that. I'm good. We can be done. But I still was in that kind of like, dance of, okay, here we go again. So at this customer event, one of the customers was kind of being a little bit flirty. But I am and always have been typically one of the only one of us in the field that I work in and at the companies that I work for. So I'm usually always on my A game on, you guys can play that, but I'm not playing around. So he was throwing out, little flirtations through the entire thing. But the night led on because of my manager at the time, who just was like, she was down for the shit. And because we had an active, captive group of customers, she was like, let's just keep the party going. So we go from one spot of our original event. We end up at STK because they were open a little bit later. So while we're there, he places himself next to me for dinner. And he's like, and I will also leave with, he was a St. Lucian man, and I have a particularly
Y'all might need to
weak
leave
spot
these
for
Caribbeans
my
alone.
St. Lucian men. And he was fine and fit. And so he's talking a good one, and I'm just, smiling, nodding, resisting. But the night goes on, and, nothing good usually happens after 12 and after you hit the third or fourth spot and drinks are involved. So now we are down to about 10 or 12 customers. We end up at this restaurant, and we get a table. Mind you, this is a work event. We get a section. My manager is leading the dance floor, and as she's doing that, I get out on the dance floor a little bit, and he comes up, and next thing you know, we're making out. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm at my work function. How is this happening?
Okay, that's part one. Hang on. You at the work function making out. That's not that bad, I don't think. I mean, it sounds like you got a fun job. Okay.
This is Tina Cole just finishing up the cocktail, and hopefully you can combine the two and play them together. But because I was coming off of, a little bit of not heartbreak, because I wasn't really heartbroken by that nigga, but, just like down period. I needed a little extra TLC, and this guy came in right in time to provide that. So we're all in the same hotel, and when we are heading back, it's now well into the wee hours, probably like 2 or 3 a.m. He's like, meet me at my room. And I was just like,
Okay.
I don't know if I should do this. But again, the alcohol had been flowing, the fuel for feeling, it was giving me just what I needed in the moment. So I was like, okay, I'll meet you there. I go back to my room, I take a quick shower, get refreshed, put on a pair of cute little undies and stuff on the bottom. But then I try and get to his room, but I can't because there were different like elevator buckets. So I go back to my room, and I considered, this should just be it. Like maybe that was my sign. But somehow he found my room number and called me and was like, what happened? I thought you were meeting me. So I told him what the deal was, and he said, meet me in the lobby, and then we'll come back up together. So I obliged, and we did. And when I tell you, this man licked me up and down and all around in every which way, tossed me to and fro, and here we go for hours and hours and hours. It put me to sleep. I just remember waking up going, okay, the sun's coming up and I need to get out of here so that I can get back to my room safely without being seen by anybody that I work with. But it was an amazing night. It was my first true one-night stand, and it was well worth it. Thanks for listening, and hope you guys can play it.
Thank you, girl. That was a good one. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind if you're just trying to have a good time. I don't think that you should be fucking your coworkers or clients, but no job lasts forever, right? mean, girl, you gotta get it how you live. And I don't know nothing about the St. Lucian men, but I have had some experience with those islanders, and I just want to say be careful. It sounds like you left unscathed. Now, next time, because I feel like this might have opened a door for you, if you are on a work trip and y'all are all staying in a hotel or something like that, and you are about to go to somebody's room, since you already went to your room, you should have put on your athleisure. You should put on your workout stuff. So if somebody saw you coming back in the morning time, then obviously you just went out for a morning jog. Clock in, babies. You need to think about that. Try that next time. Just bring an athleisure set, and then you can go down there in that and come back, and it'll all be fun, and nobody will know. But it sounds like everything worked out. I had a flashback when I was first listening to this story. By the time I was at a work event, I didn't sleep with a man. Did I? Yeah, no, I didn't sleep with him. But I was hosting a party. This was at Josephine Lounge. And I was hosting a party with some of the other girls from the radio. And I got so drunk, which was typical. This was like 2015, I want to say, but I was excited to be hosting. And it was one of the first times that the radio had like booked me to host something with the other like full-time personalities. So I was feeling myself. Well, I was feeling myself too much, and I got drunk. And then it's funny because, as I think about this, all of the memories are coming back. My man that's not my man, he came to this, but this is when we were just friends. So he had bought a couple of bottles, and then this other guy had bought a couple bottles, and then the dude who comes that I ended up making out with, he had came and bought some bottles. Now he was leaving some event. And so I don't know what got into me. I guess I was just really in a kissy mood. And I'm usually not like a soft ass kissing ass bitch. It's just not me. But that particular day, it must have been the mini dress. I was just like making out with him in the corner. And I remember going to work the next day, and they were like, Kiara, don't be doing that. This is what some of the guys were telling me from work. They were like, don't be doing that. You got carried away, and you don't want to like have a bad reputation. I was thinking like my reputation is already what it's going to be. But I'm glad that they said that, and that they were like, you got to think about this shit. You can't just be kissing niggas in the club. But he just looked so cute at the time. In hindsight, I had my drunk goggles on because he had a big head, no neck, and big shoulders. And I was going to say something shady, but I'm not. But that was an excellent memory, and I'm glad that you had fun at your work event, and it sounds like you might do it again. So when you do it again, send me another story. Again, the number is 404-692-0039. Y'all call, and before you drunk text your ex, drunk call your ex, or call your homegirl who is tired of hearing your shit and she's about to tell everybody your business, just call me, and we can play it on the show. I want to hear more of y'all's stories. I want to hear more advice, just more. Let me see if there was anything else for you guys today. Remember, we're dropping on Fridays, but keep sending in your advice. I want y'all to call me, but if you don't want to call and leave a voicemail, that's okay too. The email for the advice is still advice@cocktailspod.com. You can always email me there. And if you also have a cocktail that you'd like to share, you can share that. Cocktails@cocktailspod.com. And remember, cocktails is COCKTALES. I also want to let you guys know, if you want advice on something, it doesn't just have to be about your love life. We're going to be expanding the topics. As much as I love talking about sex, dating, and relationships, trust me, that's not going. But I just want to expand and talk about some of the other things. We're going to be talking about more TV shows. Next week, I'm talking with Drew Taylor about Real Housewives of Atlanta. When we recorded it, the most recent episode hadn't come out, but now I'm ready for the reunion because I still feel the same way. I'm more entertained, but it's like you can't entertain me in the last 3 episodes. But we'll talk about more about that later. And then remember to join me in Bali if you can. I know it's last minute, but maybe you got a bonus. Maybe you got something. You got a little shmoney that you just want to spend. Maybe you broke up with your boyfriend and you just want to get away and you want to reset. Me and the ladies and the one gentleman that's coming. So men, you can come too. But it's going to be a bunch of us there. There's 16 of us going, and we're going to have a blast. We have a lot of good activities planned, some relaxation planned, and some looks planned. And I can't wait to go. My sister is coming, so y'all don't have to worry. I will be posting content because she is already cracking the whip and sending me TikToks. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode. And remember to tune in again next week. Remember to call me 404-692-0039. Follow me on Instagram at Kiki Said So and Cocktails Podcast. And until next week, you guys, goodbye.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voice mailbox that has not been set up yet. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.